And we are live. The K&K Sports Show. First show on in 2022. And what a show it's going to be. I'm going to start with the man with the headphones. I don't know where he's going to go tonight. I don't know. I don't know who sang this song. It's a verse. You can run, but you can't hide. And person number one is here, so I give him a little credit. Person number two is not. We have an hour and 29 minutes left for him to appear. But Mr. Kirkpatrick, Happy New Year. How are you, my friend?
Happy New Year to everyone on out in the audience, family, friends, and of course the two of you and everybody. K&K Sports Show. I'll throw Jenny Hoops out there. Mr. Rosen will probably be joining us in a little bit. All our friends and family at K&K, Happy New Year to you. I hope this 2022 is a better one for everyone. And I'm here. I accept the punishment, jabs, whatever you guys got it to come at me with. I'm here.
Well, I don't think you want to use the word jabs. I mean, you might.
I don't think you want to use the word punishment. It's not a punishment.
It's a straight knockout. It was a knockout.
The TKO.
TKO. By the way, before I get to Mr. Sis, this is our great friend Henry Zimenoff. So we got a busy weekend with the Week 18 matchups in the NFL, yet more preparation for the Alabama-Georgia College Football National Championship game rematch, which is going to be more wild anyway. No, seriously, which is going to be the main attraction of the busy sports weekend? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Is it the NFL? Is it the college football? What's the bigger game? We'll get to that in a second. But Mr. Siciliano, congratulations, my friend. It was, we'll get into that later. But we were texting and we were tweeting and we were doing whatever. And the other two guys had no answer. Cincinnati had no answer. And Mr. Sis, you're 4 quarters away from going back to back.
Yeah, this time around, again, without Mechie, I think his whole game plan and strategy will be totally different.
Yes.
Number one. But the way the kid Robinson's running the ball, I think we're going to be in good shape, man. I think they're going to shock the world. Yep.
Eddie Murphy, happy New Year, Eddie Murphy.
Happy New Year, Ed.
Michigan and Cincinnati had no business being in faces in Bama and Georgia. Yeah, you know what? I can't wait to get our great friend Joey Clams tomorrow because, listen, all I kept hearing is the SEC soft, the SEC, what do they got? Who does Alabama? It just showed you last weekend that, I know Auburn didn't give up 300 yards rushing. I know A&M, they're different animals. And when the top teams in the country play each other, yeah, they are going to knock each other off. So if I'm team 1 and Sis is team 2, one of us is going to lose. If Kenny's team 3, one of us is going to lose. So I think we'll get to it later again, but we got to end this. Well, this team got a chance. They got a chance. They blew the chance. The chance is over for any of these little, I don't even what do you want to call them, B-team tournaments. It might just have to be the SEC tournament for a national championship. It just, that's it, Sis. It's,
The SEC is definitely the dominant.
We'll get into it. And I want to just congratulate Sis on a very nice victory, and I hope you can get that championship. I will pull for Alabama. I want you to get another championship over Georgia. Let's get into it in a little bit. But, because I do have some things I want to say, too. So why don't we start with quick hitters, and then we'll get into college football, Kurt, to get the show rolling.
Perfect. Eddie's saying between Bama and Georgia, who would have a legitimate shot entering the NFL and being competitive? Ooh. He's saying, you know what? I'm going to be honest. This is crazy. I know, people have always said, when Rutgers was bad or whoever and say, oh, the Patriots could beat Rutgers. I don't believe that because everybody on Alabama and Georgia, they're not NFL players, right? Not everybody. But if you take the worst team, if you take the Jacksonville Jaguars, everybody is an NFL player. So I don't think those teams would beat that. But you know what? They would be competitive because they play the right way. They're physical, they run the ball, and they both play defense. And listen, they would have a chance, I think, in the NFL. What do you guys think? But I don't think they could beat any NFL team, to be honest with you.
No, you can't.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah, they would score some points. They would, make it maybe close for a quarter or two. But you're talking about 52 professionals. Not everybody on Alabama becomes a professional.
No,
Maybe half the kids get, so I would say no, and that's my opinion on it.
yeah, I mean that's like saying a high school team,
Right, against a college.
Yeah.
joke.
It's not going to happen. It can never
No.
happen.
No,
Right.
it never will.
So, Mr. Sis, we'll let you gloat in a little bit, but we were laughing with some texts. We were saying, I think right now I'm going to go 20-1 Bielen shows up tonight. I don't think he's going to show up tonight, Sis. I don't.
I got a gut feeling he's gonna show up with excuses.
Oh yeah, he's gonna have excuse. Well, all right, he said it was a nice little show for little Cincinnati. Like,
Yeah, if it comes on, there's gonna be plenty of excuses.
Let's do quick hitters, and then I want to congratulate Sis on Alabama, and we'll get into Cincinnati. There's going to be no excuses from me. We got beat bad. We got Davy beat Goliath beat Davy, and that's it. But I will.
Well, again, Kurt
mention
brought it up. Kurt brought it up last month. Let's be realistic. This could never happen again.
right?
You can never have a team like this
No,
in the top four. You just can't.
Can't.
Not good for college football. It's not.
You can't. I mean, we've talked about it time and time again. All I keep Bielen, how 6-6 Auburn and 7-5 A&M. Listen,
Still the SEC.
I mean, listen, those teams, you watched it. Auburn, I mean, really, Auburn should have beat them. This team didn't belong on the same field with them. When you get in, I'll save it for a little bit. I'll save it. But
let's save it. Let's do quick hitters real quick, and then we'll get right in.
Let's get quick hitters. All right, here we go. Kenny, who's the NFL MVP?
I gotta go Aaron Rodgers.
I'm with you. I'm going Aaron Rodgers. Mr. Sid.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. Rodgers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, Heisman, awesome freshman from Oklahoma. He entered the transfer portal today. Kenny, where's he going to play next September?
You might see him go to USC with Lincoln Riley.
Sis, quarterback Caleb Williams from Oklahoma in the transfer portal. Where's he going to go?
I'm going to agree with Kenny. I'm going to say USC.
Think about it, because he benched Spencer Rattler
For him.
Right.
and now
That's
he's
right.
transferring.
Yep.
Okay.
Good point. Yep.
Next one. Tonight, Kyrie Irving makes his debut for this season. Sis, should the Nets have Kyrie Irving play? Oh, and Eddie Murphy right on the dot. Today is the return of number 11 Kyrie Irving for away games. Sis, should the Nets let him play?
Again, yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. It's his choice. He doesn't want to get jabbed with something to put into his body. Yeah. I would say
Sis, you know what, Sis? I'm with you. Hey, you know what? The Nets are paying him. The Nets have to pay him for at least half the thing. And you know what? I just come down to this. It's one of two things for the Nets. Either you let him play on the road, which stupid rule, he can't play. He can't play in New York, but an outside guy could come in and play in New York. It's just downright stupid. Right, stupid. But it's either you let him play on the road, or trade him. Stop the saga. Get rid of him then. One or two. He plays or trade him. Kenny, what do you think?
I agree. I think it's going to affect the chemistry of the team a little bit if he's going to play only in certain games and then not be able to play in home games. But that's another story. But I think he should play. And why have a guy making all that money sit on the bench, sit at home?
Right.
If he could play, you're playing. That's it. So
next one, and this is a little exciting to me. There's some rumors that the Mannings, especially Peyton Manning, may be part of a ownership bid for the Denver Broncos. So my question for you, will the Mannings be part of a new Bronco ownership, Mr. Kirkpatrick?
I could see them getting a part of that ownership. I mean, A-Rod has a team. Jeter has part of a team. I could see the Mannings following and joining together and buying part of the Broncos. Absolutely.
Eddie Murphy saying, I had read something that he would have been allowed to play home games, but the Nets would get fined $5,000 each game, which is chump change. But I don't know if it was legit. Source, though. I did not hear that. I don't know if you guys heard that. That would be kind of crazy.
If that's true, you'll see them do that towards playoff time. They'll eat that $5,000.
Coach Breslin, what's going on, Coach? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Coach. Good to see you.
New Year, Coach.
Saying, what's up, guys? They should have never taken him in the first place, meaning the Nets. But that being said, if they are paying him, make him play. And Coach Breslin's also saying, yes, I could see Peyton part of it. I would be super pumped for that. And Coach is saying Happy New Year's. Okay, next one. Sis, if I gave you a choice, ACC champs in college basketball, would you take Duke or the field?
Now, when you say, is this for the national championship?
No, just for the ACC.
Oh, yeah, I would take Duke. Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm going to take Duke. Kenny?
I'm going to take Duke. You know me, and I like the ACC.
I know.
I like going with the field, but I'm going to go Duke in this one.
You do. Coach Breslin's going Duke, too. All right. Now, this might get, Sis, you might have to walk away for a second or cover your ears. Hey, Carson's checking in. What's up, Carson?
What's up, Carson? Carson will be on his Twitch channel, Ticket Time YT on Twitch. Check him out. Fun stuff, gambling content, all your gambling needs. My buddy Carson.
I'm not asking you who's going to win the game. Okay? We're going to get into that later and tomorrow. My question for this, who has the better overall team? Georgia or Alabama? I'm going to start that right now. I'm not counting coaching. I'm not counting experience. I'm just going on better overall team. I'm going to say Georgia. Kenny.
It's close, but I'm going to go Alabama.
Sis?
I'm going to go Alabama.
Okay. Now, not who's going to win, not coaching,
not
better
coaching.
overall team.
I'm looking at an overall team. I'm still going Alabama, but Georgia's close this year. Very close.
Okay. By the way, if Coach can hang out later, once we get into college football, I know me and Coach Sis have something for him, especially from the defensive side of football about Cincinnati. Sis, better overall football team, Bama or Georgia?
I think, again, after watching Alabama do what they did to them, and as young as they are, I'm going to go with my boys, man. I'm going to go with my boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fair we didn't get Coach Breslin on tonight to do the matchups between Georgia and Alabama.
Yeah, you know what?
I would have loved to have seen the whiteboard tonight.
Oh, yeah, we got to get the whiteboard.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow night.
NFL playoffs, we'll set something up with Coach for NFL playoffs. We'll do a whiteboard.
I wanted to see him match up against what's going to happen this time with Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah, hey, we got to squeeze him in if he's around tomorrow, Kenny. We can a couple minutes.
Oh yeah.
That'll for 15 minutes, whatever.
Okay. Next one for you guys, Sis. What's your New Year's resolution?
First of all, for this freaking virus to go away, that's number one. For everybody to be happy and stay safe, and be grateful for everything you have. That's my New Year's resolution to the whole crew out there.
I like it, Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Echo Sis's words, and I'm going to start eating healthier and plan on trying to lose between 15 and 20 pounds.
There you go.
Low diet, working out.
Oh, all right.
I'm with you.
and I'm going to cut down. I can't say I'm going to cut it out. I'm
No,
going to cut down on Turkey Hill.
you can't.
You better cut down on the pizza.
Oh, that's no problem down here, sis. That's no problem down here.
It's that bad, huh? Yeah.
It's Domino's and I don't want to mention all the chains, but it's all the chains down here.
Oh God.
Kenny, I'll start with you on this one. If you could redraft, I believe it was 3 years ago, the top 3 players. You ready?
Yep.
Zion Williamson, Ja Morant, RJ Barrett. Right now, how would you draft them in order?
Well, number 1 would be my guy who I wanted number 1, who I thought should have been number 1, and that's Ja Morant. I'm sorry. Injuries are knocking Zion down. I got to go RJ number 2 and Zion number 3.
All right. Before I get to Sis, I'm going to stick the way it is. I still think Eddie's with you, Morant, RJ, and Zion. I'm still going to keep it the way it is. I think all 3 of them could be franchise players. But I just think Zion, if he gets right in the right, he's not good in New Orleans. He's not motivated. I'm telling you, I really think not that I'm a Knicks fan, but I think his heart was set on New York. He didn't get it. He gets thrown out to New Orleans. He sees his boy RJ. They're chanting RJ Barrett in the Garden. I don't know, man. I just think he's got unbelievable talent to where he could be the best player in the league. I mean, he was the best college player we've seen in forever, and it's not working in New Orleans. I think he will get another shot. I think he gets that big market, and I think he's going to be I think he's going to be the man. So I would still go Zion, Morant, and Barrett, but I would not. I wouldn't care about any. I would want any of them. Coach Breslin saying Morant. That would be it. Anyone else? Too bad he's being paid. He is too big and not in shape. He's also injury prone. Eddie Murphy saying Zion will probably sign with Knicks when a free agent. Hey, Paul Mulvaney, happy New Year, Paul. Zion needs the healthy eating resolution. By the way, Paul's going to be joining us soon, Kenny. He's very newly equipped. New mic, new MacBook. He's got the Rode mic.
He just had a birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Paul.
And Paul Rosen's with us now, guys.
What's up, Paul? How are you?
All right. Happy New Year.
Who's this guy, Paul Rosen?
Yeah, sorry I'm late, guys. I felt like I was on State Parkway on a Sunday night in the middle of summer.
You
No
were in the
biggie
mirror.
at all. No biggie
You were in the
at
mirror
all.
putting that gel on your hair.
Paul saying thank you, and we got a happy New Year all from a Maria O'Connor.
Happy New Year, Maria.
Happy New Year, Maria. And my last one is, Kenny, this is going to be the fun one. I'm going to start this with Sis. Well, you know what? I'll go Sis and Paul, and then you. What is Kenny's...
Whoa, you didn't ask me my 3 basketball
Oh,
guys.
sorry. Zion?
I went with you. I'm busting your chops. I went with you. Same 3.
Same thing. Okay, Paul, how about you? If you could redraft, Paul, Zion, RJ Barrett, Ja Morant. How would you, if you could do them today?
I would have gone with Zion. Yeah. I mean, I know with everything else that was going on since he's been drafted, but if he could have been under the guidance of what the Knicks have now, I think he'd be a completely different.
Yes. I agree with you. I would still take him. I'm telling you. You know, that talent doesn't just disappear. I mean, he is, like Paul said, he is out of shape.
My argument for Ja Morant, number 1, would be your point guard is like a leader of a team, like a quarterback. So I'd rather have that guy leading my team for the next 10 years, running the court.
Listen, it's hard, man. I mean, Morant's a stud. It's tough. It's tough.
And I was a Morant guy from the original draft. I wanted him.
You did. And you know what, though? The thing, too, is where I know a lot of people, we all wanted Zion, right? Kenny's and Sis, we were, we were all Zion. But I will say this, that night of that draft, when it said, oh, the Knicks got 3, you're sitting there saying, well, it's Morant, Zion, and RJ. Or then, what's the guy's name that was, oh, my God, DeAndre Hunter. DeAndre Hunter. I mean, listen, we lucked out. By getting RJ Barrett as opposed to DeAndre Hunter. So
yeah, he's starting to play better, RJ. I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah. And my last one, I'm gonna go start with Sis, then I'll go to Paul, and then we'll give the official one to Kenny. What is Kenny's BS excuse for the Cincinnati embarrassment? What's it gonna be? Because we're gonna hear it later. We're gonna hear it later, Sis. What's it gonna be?
He's going to say, like Joey Clams did, their only significant win was against Notre Dame, and they were outcoached by Mr. Saban. That's going to be his excuses.
All right. Paul, do you have anything where you think he's going to come up with his BS excuse in a little bit?
I have a little more to say later on it, but I think Kenny might say something like, listen, they deserve to be there. They didn't totally embarrass themselves. They just got beat by a better team, better athletes. And I think maybe in the future, we might have other teams similar to that. But I think ultimately, he's going to realize that Alabama was a much, much better team than Cincinnati.
I'm going to go with something like this, Paul. Well, they only gave up 27 points, and when you look at it, Georgia gave up 41, and they were nervous on the stage. No nervous. They didn't belong there. So, Kenny, we'll hold off because you're going to give us this BS excuse in a little bit. So we'll hold off until your official one. But you're going to go somewhat to that. They're young. They'll be back. They'll be ready next time. I don't think they'll ever be a next time, but that's what we're going to get along.
I will say I have some thoughts about that because I was thinking about the whole scenario. So maybe when we get to it, we'll talk about it further.
Coach Breslin. Oh, go ahead, Kenny.
I'm going to throw you don't know me very well, Kurt. Mr. Siciliano and Mr. Rosen do know me well because I'm not going to make any excuses. We got beat bad, but I will say the coach make no adjustments, none. And
he stayed in the 3-3 and they were running it down his throat. But you can say that.
I will say that, number one, and it's not an excuse. It's the truth. There was no adjustments. Not saying Cincinnati would have won because that'd be ludicrous.
Right.
And Paul said, they played decent. For going into the fourth quarter, that game was still 17-6. That's all I'll say on that.
That game was
but you
never
keep bringing
in
up Cincinnati.
question.
You keep bringing up Cincinnati. You got to bring up Michigan because they didn't show up against Georgia.
Yeah.
But all I'm hearing from everybody is Cincinnati. Georgia was out of that game in the first quarter.
Well, Coach Breslin's saying, guys, there is Alabama, Georgia, and everyone else. They were 13-0 and deserved to be in the game based on the criteria that follow. I will just say this, and I am going to argue with Clams tomorrow because Clams is still saying they're still a top 4 team in football. There's no way. No way.
But you know what? This segues right into college football.
Okay.
And our first topic tonight. I'm sorry, Paul.
I have more comments about the game because I do want to bring an analogy in there. So
basically, on the college football playoffs.
Oh, wait, Paul, you cut Paul off.
I'm sorry, I did. Sorry, Paul.
No, that's all right. Listen, I think Cincinnati played the way I think most people expected them to. Take nothing away from Alabama. They played. This is why Saban is such an unbelievable coach. I think if you would have polled 100 people, 99 would have said Bryce Young is going to come out and they're going to start throwing the ball around. And they came out. Sis and I were texting back. This is unbelievable how they're just running it down their throat. The offensive line just totally overwhelmed them. They have no answer. And obviously, Robinson played the game of his life because they had no answer. And I said at one point to Sis, they're going to soften them up and then they're going to start throwing the ball.
They didn't have to.
Yeah. But that all being said, like Kenny just said about the Michigan-Georgia game, that game was over the first 2 drives.
Yeah.
And I'll throw in my good Notre Dame team, who when they played Clemson and they played Alabama, were to use Sis's words, they were woodshedded in both those games. Okay, so did Notre Dame deserve to be there on those 2 years? Absolutely, but they were totally woodshedded in those 2 games. I'll be the first to admit. Clemson and Alabama destroy them. There was no game after basically the first quarter. So all I'm saying is, as good as Notre Dame was in those years, they were totally outclassed by 2 teams that clearly were superior. That's all I'm going to say.
We all could have picked 4 other teams that would have been a more competitive game than Cincinnati and Alabama. We all could.
Right. And you know what, sis? That's my question. I know Joey Clams and Bielen will get some. Bielen looks at that little record next to him and says a 6-6, and Alabama lost to a 5-loss A&M team. But when you look at it, and I don't want to go by the Hawaii Bowl, okay? I don't look at that. If you took a natural field and said Auburn with all their guys, A&M with all their guys, and Cincinnati with all their guys, those 2 teams beat them. You can't beat. It's because they don't play anybody during the year. Like when Auburn has to play Alabama, someone's going to lose. Auburn's going to play A&M, someone's going to lose. Of course you're going to have teams. I go back to my high school. If Bergen and Bosco has 6 losses, you can't look and say Bosco's 6-6. Yeah, but they lost to the top 5 teams in the state. So they're the next best team. Like, I don't know. I argue with that. I don't go by record.
These teams are going to be in the Big 12 next year, and hats off to them. Hats off to them. They're not, in Paul, all due respect to your Notre Dame fan, but Notre Dame is your number 5 team. I don't want Notre Dame in the playoffs over Cincinnati. I'm sorry. No, I'm not just saying. I'm saying, but Sis and Kurt's argument is they want to put the next team in above them.
Yeah,
I'm not putting Notre Dame there. Not because Cincinnati beat them, because Notre Dame's not in a conference.
Auburn should have beat Alabama, and I'm an Alabama guy.
Yeah, see,
and I'm realistic. They should have lost to Auburn.
What really helped, in reality, what helped Cincinnati this year were the other conferences screwed themselves, right? Because if you really look at it, the Big 12. Oklahoma's better. Oklahoma or Oklahoma State are way better than Cincinnati. The problem is they had 2 losses, but they're a better team, right?
Right.
The Pac-12, my opinion, Utah, I think is still better than Utah's schedule is better than what Cincinnati did, right? Okay. You look at all those, maybe the ACC's down, but even that, like Cincinnati wouldn't beat a healthy Clemson team. They just wouldn't. No. They wouldn't. And that's why now you're going to see, even though they're going, listen, the Big 12 isn't going to be a great conference, but there's no way Cincinnati's going 12-0 there. They'll probably have 4, 5, 6 losses because every week they're playing a tough team. They're playing Tulsa and East Carolina. I mean, that's like, come on, it's like practice games for them. Practice games.
Well, again, absolutely no excuses, but I lost a lot of respect for, not a lot, I don't want to say respect, but I lost a lot of, I thought that I was really high on the Cincinnati coach.
He's terrible.
For him not to make some kind of adjustment when you have that secondary, which is your strength. And all joking aside, Jameson Williams got pretty much held intact by Gardner because they kept running the ball, and Kobe Bryant, another good guy in the secondary.
Again, you could see if you're the coach of Cincinnati, you can see Alabama's not going to throw. You got the best 2 corners in the country, and you're 20 yards off the ball for what?
Yeah,
put 8 guys in a box.
Well, sis, Coach Breslin just nailed it. They are a 3-3 stack team. They are not going to change what they do. What I would say is if they want to compete with the Alabamas and Georgias moving forward, they may need to adjust the scheme to compete with those teams to stop the run. But if they are not big enough physically to stop the run, it will not matter unless they're moving the front and causing issues in the run.
That's
exactly what we said, sis.
Right. And you know what, though? But you're on the stage.
Totally dominated that defensive line.
You're on the stage, and all I kept hearing was Kenny and Bielen. Oh, we got the 2 best corners. And then lock them up and put 9 in the box. I understand that's not what they do because, again, they're not playing. You ain't running a 3-3 stack in the SEC because Auburn's going to run down your throat. A&M's going to run down your throat. Florida, it's like a gimmick league, right? So they could play this little 3-3 stack, but you're on the national stage. You're on national TV. You're just Alabama, like you said, Paul. It was like so disrespectful. Line up. We're going to run right here. 8 yards, 8 yards, 8 yards. They never made an adjustment. It's insane. Insane to me.
That kid waited 4 years at over 200 yards, which is a record.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got 8 yards to carry.
And can I add one more thing, Sis? And you'll attest to this. They claim this is the weakest offensive line that Alabama has had in many years. So if that's their weakest line that they've had, and of course Neil probably would be one of the top 3 or 4 picks in the draft.
No doubt.
What does that say about the Cincinnati defensive line and defensive team that they couldn't control or at least come up and somehow control the offensive line of Alabama?
But here, and Coach Breslin's saying it, Sis, here we come. Blitz and play cover 0, buddy. I mean, how do you not do? That's like saying, okay, I'm a cover 3 team, but a team's just going to run 4 verticals and you constantly get hit. You're just going to stay in cover 3?
Let me ask Sis a question. Let me ask Sis a realistic question.
Go ahead.
The pressure that they did get on him, on Bryce Young, I saw, I don't want to say happy feet, but I saw him, when they did pressure him, because of how good the secondary is, there were a lot of incomplete passes.
But you know what? No. See, I'm going to go ahead, Sis.
No, I'll agree with that. He didn't play his best game, but again, getting back to that game, he didn't have to throw the ball over the lot. There was no need to.
No, I know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is,
explain happy feet because I'm lost with that.
I don't want to say happy feet. That's not the word I want to use. When they did get pressure on him, because Cincinnati secondary is legit, you weren't getting the wide open wide receivers, so he was throwing incomplete passes. That's my opinion. Why they didn't blitz more or try and get more pressure on him and sit back in the 3-3 like Coach just said, mind-boggling. I don't know why they didn't make the adjustments.
They were trying to blitz on him, but guess what? Alabama's offensive line was in the backs. They were picking it up.
I will say this. I will say this. This is what I want to say. Cincinnati's offense could not compete with Alabama's defense on the field. But I will say this, and you got to say this, okay? As dominant as Alabama was, that score was 17-6 going into the fourth quarter.
But that's meaningless.
That's not a woodshed.
It's a woodshed. No, it's a woodshed.
Not on page. How's 17-6?
I never used the
word.
Not
you, Sis. Not you. Not you. I'm not talking about you.
That point right there is moot because look at Georgia. They had Alabama 10-0 the last time they played. What happened?
Because
I'm saying 17-6. You're still in the game in the fourth quarter.
Never in the game.
You know what,
Never
Kenny?
in the game.
In my opinion, it was 17-6, but sitting there watching that game, I never got the sense.
Nope, I agree.
Never got the sense that even though it was only 17-6, never got the sense that Cincinnati can come back.
Yeah, I agree.
Kenny, you talk about happy feet, right, with Bryce Young, right? So they're in a 3-3 stack, meaning if they only rush 3, they have 8 guys in coverage, right? So we sit here every week and we say teams got the blueprint on the Chiefs, right? It's the same thing with the Chiefs. It's like a poker game. We're gonna play back, and we bet we're gonna dare you to run the ball, and you're gonna be impatient and not want to run it. Now, what have the Chiefs done lately? Run the ball, right?
Well,
but if you're sitting back with 8 guys, of course he's going to have – you have 8 guys in coverage. So what do? You run the ball down their throat. But once after 6 and 7 runs, get out of the 3-3, move guys up in the box. Right. They never did it.
I agree with you 1,000,000%. And Saban's the best coach in football by far, and he's got the best team. Not even coach. Kirby Smart can win with Alabama. Anybody can win with this Alabama team because of the talent. but you add Saban to that talent, and it puts the team that much more elite. That's why they ran the ball for 300 yards. That coach didn't know how to make adjustments.
No, because they're just not as physical. They don't put A&M and Auburn are gonna. Their D line is gonna.
My
is gonna
question is,
stop them.
Nobody, Alabama and Georgia are above everybody else, like Coach Breslin said. But to come down on Cincinnati and not come down on Michigan or any of these other teams that got beat, let me name some teams. What do these teams have in common? Houston, Texas Tech, Baylor, Central Florida, K-State, Purdue, Army. They all beat SEC teams in the playoffs.
But SEC teams without their players.
You said 10 minutes ago that they should have an SEC tournament for the playoffs.
Well, let me ask
you
something.
Not with those teams losing. Not with those teams losing.
Well, hold on. Because I watched every play of this game a couple weeks ago. Alabama 24, Auburn 22. Rushes, 37 rushes for 71 yards. I know that defense didn't give up 300 yards rushing. I could tell you that because Auburn is better than all those teams. Auburn didn't have 6 guys in a bowl and no quarterback. And it still came down to the last play. Stop. You can't go by these bowls. Look at LSU last night. They had about 20 guys on the team. Nobody was there. I mean, you can't go and look at that. Look at the 2 games that mattered. I saw 2 games that mattered. 34-11, 27-6. 17 points in 2 games. They both ran the ball for about 500 yards combined and gave up 17 points. Run the ball defense. It's simple, right, Bielen? Where's Bielen? It's simple.
20-1. Where's Bielen? Bielen's here.
There he is. It's simple, right, Bielen? 27-6. 34-11.
Where's Sis? Does Sis have enough of this? He walked away?
No, but answer this. We talk about it every week, right, Paul? Am I a liar? Run the ball, play defense, right?
Kurt,
Hold on.
Let Kurt go. We're going to go one by one here because I know this is going to get heated.
Alabama had, well, think about this. Alabama had 301 yards rushing. Cincinnati had 74, right? Okay, well, that's one. Well, let's get to the other semifinal game. The other semifinal game, let's see. The team that won had 190 yards rushing, and the other team had 91. It's not a like miraculously a miracle formula. You run the ball, play defense. Alabama and Georgia gave up 17 points total. 17 point total. That's 8.5, right? 8.5 a game. That's it. Do it. Run the ball. It's simple.
Right.
Run the ball.
Well, Bielen's going to get a chance to respond, and if anybody interrupts, you're getting muted.
Go ahead.
All right, because this is going to get heated, and we got to move on too. We can't. We got less than an hour left in the show.
Listen, I don't think it's. I'm going to be home in a little bit, but it's you pick and choose what games you want to say this with, because there'll be another week or next week or whenever they play the championship game, Alabama's going to run for like 25 yards and they're going to win the game, and then you're going to be like, well, Bielen, you see, you have to pass the ball to win the game.
Listen, I'm not saying you got to pass the ball.
What you want to do? You do not give Cincinnati credit.
No.
27-6, 27 points. They scored 41 on Georgia. 41, and that's an SEC defensive team.
Bielen.
And you're talking about an AAC team.
Did you watch the game? Did you watch the game, Bielen? Did you watch the game?
I watched the game, and I was texting Sis exactly the same time.
Well, I texted Sis too because Paul Rosen just brought it up. First drive, 10 runs in a row, no answer. I said to Sis, what time's Michigan on? It's over. It's over. They had no answers. I don't want. Look at the stats. 7 yards a 6 yards a carry.
Kurt, at halftime, going into the fourth quarter, it was 14-6. 14-6. Alabama scored 14 points going into the fourth quarter versus the AAC defense, but they dropped 41 on Georgia's defense.
Well, it was 17. It was 17-3 at half. So how it was 14-6, I don't know how your math is.
All right, 17. Whatever. 17 points against an AAC defense, and you drop 41 against the SEC's top-ranked teams, and you drop 41 against them?
Well, I'm just going to end this story right now because I think this whole
it's time to get off this.
Last thing, sis.
Kurt, give them credit. That's
No, I'm
all.
not
Just
giving them
give-
credit. No, they didn't.
They ain't gonna get it, Bielen. You ain't gonna
Bielen,
get
hold
it.
on, Bielen. Are they right now? If you look right now, are they a top 4 team in the country?
No. So is not Michigan
They
either.
shouldn't have been there.
Yeah, where are you dropping Michigan, Kurt? Where you
Michigan's
dropping
higher
Michigan?
than Cincinnati.
No,
Higher than Cincinnati.
bro.
Let's move on.
Everybody and their mother
All night.
thought
I
that
agree.
Game's
Let's
over.
thought that Michigan was gonna romp them. They Harbaugh this. Harbaugh's a fraud. He's a fraud. Get
I'll
him out of
take that
here.
fraud. I'll take that fraud in Denver.
That's a question I have later on. So
I'll take that, Paul.
Bielen, are you on your way home to your family?
Yes.
don't get into an accident,
Go
Bielen.
No,
home.
I
Go home.
stopped.
Enjoy your
I got-
dinner. Enjoy your
No.
wife. Enjoy your kids.
I'm stopping. I'm picking up my phone. My food. I'm coming home and I'm hopping back on in like 15 minutes.
All right,
on.
we'll see you then, Bielen.
We'll see you then.
Okay. Cool.
Let me ask you guys.
Fired him right up, Kurt.
I
Let me
fired
ask
him
you
up.
guys
I
a
love
question.
it.
Hey, Kurt lost 20-1, by the way, because he did come up.
I did.
Which game surprised you more? The Cincinnati Alabama game or the Michigan Georgia game?
Who you asking me?
Everyone.
If you're asking me, I'll go first. I'm going to say the Michigan game. I was very disappointed. I thought Michigan had a shot. Very disappointed in the way they played. Very.
Yeah. How about you, Kurt?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, listen, I don't know. I always thought that game was going to be a blowout, the Alabama-Cincinnati game. And you know what? Michigan, they don't look good. I mean, Michigan, you know what? Michigan shocked me. And, you know, I think I don't know.
Yeah.
Georgia, very impressive. And listen, I cannot wait to Monday night because you got the 2 best teams in the country playing.
Mm-hmm. Kenny?
You know what, Kurt? I'm going to say you nailed one thing, and I'll keep bringing this up for weeks. Kirby Smart is like the true life water boy story.
Yeah.
That team, what they did to Michigan, surprised the hell out of me. I thought it was going to be a lot closer.
I did too.
But that really surprised me. Like I was listening to it at work, and I was like, man, this game's over 10 minutes in. But yeah, it's just like with Kirby Smart, when he looks over at Saban, it's like a true water boy story.
Kirby Smart was hoping that Cincinnati beat Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're right, sis.
Because Saban's already in his head, and they're already.
You got me gonna watch. We're gonna watch the water boy.
Guys,
Sis.
Coach Breslin's saying, I am not a hardball fan, but I thought they could compete a little more. They had no answer on offense.
Exactly. He's right.
Hey, sis, what's that crazy record I read? Something Saban is like 30-something and 1 against his assistants.
Yes. He lost the one game to Texas A&M,
Jimbo.
Fisher, and that's it. But again, the psych here is real quick. He's in Kirby Smart's head. Kirby Smart has had a lead against them the last 2 times or 3 times they played.
Yep.
Alabama always came back and beat them again real quick. This is not going to be like the first game where Mr. Bryce Young is going to throw the ball. There's going to be a totally different offensive scheme for this game. Bama's going to beat them. I could care less what anybody says.
I agree with you.
I
sis.
agree.
I think Bama's going to beat them. I will say one thing. Quick hitter off script real quick. I'll start Kurt, sis, Paul. Aiden Hutchinson's non-existent performance against Georgia, is that going to affect his draft position?
Yeah, I'm not taking him in the first round. I'm not taking him with the first pick.
Myself, you can't go off of one game. I would say that he's going to be a first rounder. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Kid had a tremendous year.
Guys, real quick, Mark Calderio saying, good evening, gentlemen. His son's wrestling match tonight was canceled. We talked about him yesterday, but what's going on, Mark?
Mark, what's going on, bud? You missed the Michigan talk, so that's good.
Why-
We're just
why
talking about
was
Aiden Hutchinson, if his draft position is going to be
Was
affected
it
by it.
COVID?
Yeah.
Is that what was canceled?
He didn't say. We'll see if he answers.
Okay.
You think he's
I
going to be
think-
affected a little bit, Paul?
Yeah, I think he cost himself a little money. I mean, he'll get picked probably top 10,
Yeah.
but drop a little. But I think he cost himself a little money.
I still think he's top 3.
Really?
The question is where he's going to go. I think Jacksonville's going to take Sis's boy Evan Neal #1. I really do.
Mark,
protect Trevor Lawrence for the next 10 years.
Sis, Mark is saying yes. That was the reason.
Not too bad. Sorry to hear.
But you know what? Let's get to college football. I got a quick hitter for you, Mr. Kirkpatrick, and I'm going to put you on the spot because you owe an apology to somebody. And it's not to me, it's not to Sis, and it's not to Paul Rosen. You know who you owe an apology to? The Corral family. Because you said to me, it's a disgrace these players not playing. They should play, yada, yada. And you know what? What happened with Mr. Matt Corral in the bowl game on Saturday night? Because it was almost a catastrophe with that guy getting hurt in a meaningless game and losing millions and millions and millions of dollars. So hopefully he's okay. But Kenny, you're the advocate that said on here, it's a disgrace and they should play these games. What do you have to say to Matt and his family?
I got to say, Matt, I respect you for playing in the game. You got a full ride scholarship to play for us, not to opt out in a bowl game where the school's making millions.
So are you going to pay the difference for him when he drops, or if he drops down and they're saying, I'm not going to take him top 10 because that ankle or foot's an injury? You're going to pay the rest of that insurance that he should get?
Just like when you go to high school, Kurt, are you sitting out your last game in high school when you get signed by the college?
Yep.
No.
But you know what? The college could request you too, not for that, but like summer and stuff like that. But you're not going to college to make millions and millions and millions.
I respect the heck out of Matt Corral for playing, and he went to school on a full ride athletic football scholarship to play football for Ole Miss, not to opt out in not a meaningless bowl game, a bowl game that's making the school at least probably almost $10 million.
Kurt is hitting Kenny with lefts and rights tonight.
What's your thoughts on that, Sis? Because Kenny's been the advocate. You got to play. You should play.
My thoughts on after watching that kid get hurt.
Yes.
Next year, you're not.
Nobody's going to play.
Anybody. Yeah. That's exactly my thoughts.
Paul, what about you on that?
Yeah, I mean, I know that was a big topic over the weekend on a lot of the game show, pregame shows. And actually, it's funny, Kenny. That was the question I was going to raise later with you. It's tough. I'll tell you. If that's my kid, and knowing he might be able to have a lucrative, draft status with a big mega deal, I might say to him, listen, forego that last game and protect yourself. That would be my feeling.
Then you know what? My last thing, because I want to move on, Kurt, because we got a lot to do.
Okay.
All right. My last quick hitter type question to you is, then why have bowl games that don't mean anything? We should just have a college playoff of 8 teams, and that's it.
No 8 teams, 4 teams.
No 8 teams, 4 teams.
What? There was only 2 or 3.
No 8 teams. You guys all were on a show 5 months ago and wanted 8 teams in a playoff.
No. I don't want 8. I don't want 8.
I'll go back to that show.
No way.
And find where
because
we all said
you know
8
why?
teams.
I'm going to tell you why. And then I swear to God, I'll be done with college football. You know why I don't want 4? I don't want 8, more than 4? Because Alabama, that Bryce Young drive to beat Alabama, if they don't beat Auburn, they don't go to the playoff. If it's 8, they're going, win or lose. It's the same teams. What am I going to do? Add Notre Dame and Oklahoma and water it down? No. You got to make it to where Alabama had to beat Auburn and Alabama had to beat Georgia to get in. And that's what I want. Oklahoma State had a win. They couldn't get in. Michigan had a win or they couldn't get in. If you start going 8, why play those games? Then those games are meaningless. No, 4. You didn't even have 4 teams that deserve to be in the playoffs this year.
Okay.
I know we had this discussion, if it was 5 months ago or what. They expanded college March Madness. First it was like 16 teams, then 32, and now 64. Used to be you had to win your conference, you got in. Now you have 4, 5, 6 teams from the ACC. Remember when the Big East was the Big East? Yeah. You had teams. You had guys, teams like Villanova, maybe St. John's. They finally got to the Final Four. Did anyone complain that they were fourth or fifth in their conference? No, they made a run. They got to the Final Four. To me, that was the excitement of that tournament, and it continues to be every year when you get 3, 4, 5 teams. So for me, if they had 8 teams in, hey, more the merrier as far as I'm concerned.
But you know what? The only thing I would say with that, though, is they really do have playoff games, right? Like Michigan, Ohio State, that was a playoff game. In reality, winners in, losers out. And that's why I love, like, these conference games. And, like, you know, oh, my God, like, Alabama. Think about it. Alabama probably shouldn't have even got in. They should have lost to Auburn if Tank Bigsby doesn't run out of bounds. But if you're just saying, like, that game doesn't matter if you just say, all right, 8 teams in, because Alabama's one of the top 8 teams. Alabama's, if they had 4 losses, they're one of the top 8. So,
but Kirk, but again, I go back to March Madness. How many years in the Big East did Georgetown face Syracuse? Or
I know. I agree.
Over, and they both go in, and it turns out they both go on runs in, you know, whether it's the East or the West or whatever.
I'm just saying. I'm sorry, Paul.
No, that's all right.
No. I was just saying. To me, that gets you 3, maybe 4 teams in the SEC in. That's what I'm looking at. You know, and that's how I'm looking at it in a way like that.
It's hard because the thing that I think makes college football, again, NFL. Listen, who's the team that like the Jets beat the Cincinnati Bengals? Does that game really matter? Like, you got 16 games you're gonna lose. You know, NBA. I mean, they don't even care. They sit out. But college football, you could be one and done, and your season's over. Like, that's, I think, the thing that makes it so much interesting is because every game matters. And if you start saying 8 teams, listen, Alabama's going to be in it. No matter if there's 8, 16, 4, they're going to be in it. So, I don't know. I like it like that.
All right. Well, let's move on, guys. We got, you know, a lot to cover in the next 35, 40 minutes. Sis, you have something that's on your mind tonight?
No, I'm disgusted with all years. There'll be no what's on Sis's mind tonight.
All right. Well, I'm going to skip over.
I would like some feedback off of everybody tonight on this. And it's about tonight's, what's on my mind is about these NFL policies. Okay. First question out of the box to the 3 of you. How many chances do these guys get? And I'm going to use Antonio Brown and Josh Gordon for an example. Now, I'm all in for a second chance, but I'm not all in for a third and fourth. What is Goodell doing, making $40 million a year? And what is he really doing for this kind of money for the game? I'll start with Kenny.
Policies do need to change. I haven't been following up on what's been going on with Antonio Brown. I know what happened, obviously, but the story I'm hearing, and you guys maybe can fill me in, is that Antonio Brown said that his ankle was still bothering him, but medical staff cleared him to go out and play, and they said, you better go out there and play. Is that accurate?
I heard something like about that.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing I can say is if there's any truth to that, then maybe there is a little truth to that because Tampa Bay did not cut him, right? Tampa Bay is suspended him.
Not yet.
Right. So maybe
let me ask you this question real quick. How could the head coach not know?
I was just about to say that, sis. Yeah. You took the word right out of my mouth.
Who on my team is injured and can't play?
Right.
And he made that statement.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say, you know, like I think there's a little more to this than it's being said because they should have, if he just walked off the field and there was nothing done by the team, you know, the coaches or whatever, then they would have cut him immediately off the team. But because he's not cut, something more said. But
okay,
I don't think they should be getting many chances neither. So if this comes out true that Antonio Brown walked off the field like that, you got to blame the teams for signing the guy. You know, why would you sign that guy?
Well, I'm gonna give you a thoughts where, and this is just crazy, but because he technically, what's his name? Arian said he's no longer a Buck, right? He said that, hands down, right?
Right.
Right.
Okay. But here's the thing. Do you ever think that, is Tampa Bay a Super Bowl contender? Yeah, right? They have a shot to win the Super Bowl. Now, do you ever think if they go and say, we release him, listen, he's the second best receiver on the Packers if he goes there, right? Dallas just lost Gallup. He could go there. The Rams are down receivers. He could go there. Do you ever think in their mind they say, we don't want to cut him because he could hurt us
Absolutely.
come playoff time? I mean,
Somebody else is going to grab him. Yeah.
someone's going to grab him. I mean, think about what you're saying. They said right after the game, he's no longer a Buck. Well, he's still a
Right.
Buck. He's still a
still
Buck.
still on the roster.
But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, you know what? The chances, listen, I mean, I love the NFL. I watch it, but you know what? Think about it. Tom Brady got caught cheating. People cheer him on. Tyreek Hill, for what the stuff he did, I mean, he should be in jail for what he
Belichick,
did. And
yep.
Belichick cheating. They just Big Ben. Everybody yesterday, oh my God,
Right.
Big Ben. I mean, rape somebody. Come on.
Right.
Like,
Got away with it.
He got away with it. So
He
am
got
I
away with
shocked at it? No, it's never going to change. They're going to keep letting him do it.
Yeah. Paul, your
Yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Paul, your
Yeah.
thoughts.
There's an expression that I'm sure all you guys have heard. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And look at this. Pittsburgh, the Raiders, New England, the Bucks.
Right.
You know, you only hide your pathology for just so long. This guy has not changed who he is on all those teams. I think I read somewhere, someone said, it's amazing that, what's his name? The coach of the Steelers, Mike
Tomlin
put up with this guy for 9 years. Like, it's amazing how he was able to do it. But he is who he is. Does this surprise anybody? Now, that being said, might there be some actual issues with him psychologically, neurologically, possibly? Who knows? We won't know that. But clearly, you don't do something like this and expect to continue playing. Will teams, like you said, Kurt, possibly pick him up? Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the bottom line. They want to win a Super Bowl after the last game of the year with a chance to possibly go further into the playoffs. Will Antonio Brown possibly be picked up? Absolutely.
Yep.
No way that guy doesn't get picked up by someone if he's released by the Bucks, and that's why he's still there right now.
Now, what the NFL should do is you're done for the year. No postseason. You can't play. But they won't.
No.
Yeah.
They won't do it.
Because it's all about money. Mr. Bielen, what?
Well, a couple of things. So, Kurt, one thing, you can't suspend them. What are you going to suspend them for? Taking his jersey off? You can't suspend them for that.
Insubordination.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think
Well,
he did
that's where
anything.
the union's going to come in and protect.
Yeah,
Right,
he didn't-
of course.
Right. And
You know.
and but so here's my take on it too. One, I think Bruce Arians is saying he's no longer a Buck. Like, he's not going to play, but he's still going to be there. They're probably going to keep him there. There's a difference between Belichick. Belichick is like, he's no longer a Patriot. He's going to cut him, you know. But Bruce
You're right,
Arians is
Bielen.
like,
No, that's a good point, Bielen. Good point.
but Bruce Arians is probably a little smarter in that sense, where he's like, you know what? He's no longer a Buck, but I'm still going to keep him, and so be it. Because regardless, at the end of the day, if he's on the team or if he's not on the team, and they win a Super Bowl, he still gets a ring.
Right.
So it doesn't matter, right? And then look at it this way. Remember a guy that everybody knew he was a diva, but Terrell Owens.
Yep.
And talent, I think nowadays, I think people look over that. They see the talent and they know it's there, and help people. 31 teams or 30 teams in the NFL are going to take Antonio Brown no matter what.
Yeah.
If
you're
he's
right.
there.
Coach Brendan's saying, yes, he has some major issues. I agree, Paul. Teams want to win, but they keep selling their soul to win. No, thank you.
Yeah.
My next thing is, we all know it's all about money. Okay, so let's even on the college level now, it's getting to that. My question is this: like, how does it stop, or won't it stop? Owners, organizations, do they really care about the product they're putting on the field, or their fans? Prices are out of control now. Just to take the Giants. They're 22-58 in the last 7 years. Do they really care about putting a product out there, Kurt?
I'm actually shocked because the Giants are probably one of the most respectful franchises and quote unquote do the right things. But how they did the other day, all right, your thing this year is you get a free medium soda, and you know what? I don't know. I don't know. You would think that again, the Giants are very respectful, but somebody said today on somebody said today on the radio, they said, everyone calls the Jets are the circus team in New York, but right now, are the Jets a better franchise than the Giants? I mean, it's crazy when you think about it.
I said that to Sis the other day.
Absolutely. Paul, what do you think on this?
It always comes down. The fans get screwed either way. Games that start at 1 o'clock. Oh, we're gonna put them now at 8 o'clock at night. We don't care for the fans. They don't really give a shit. Ooh, excuse me. They really crap. Sorry about that.
You can say that word, Kenny.
They don't care about the fans. It's let's get all them in the seat. Let them buy the PSLs. Let them spend the money in the concession stands, and then we'll throw them a bone. We'll give them like Kurt said. We'll give them a medium. We'll give them
Pepsi.
a medium.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kenny,
they don't care. Listen,
No. I just agree with what Paul and Kurt said, and I think going forward, and I'll have a little more fun with it on my segment coming up. The Giants need to take an approach to bring in veterans, and maybe like a going from head coach, somebody with experience, GM, somebody with experience, and get this team back on track. Because if we don't, and we keep bringing in these newcomers, we all see what's going to happen, and we're going to be 22-58 in the next 7 years as well.
Absolutely. Mr. Bielen, what do you think?
I mean, I think it's a 50-50 thing. I think they do care what's out there, and of course, it's always about money. I mean, look when they did the extra game this year, right? At the end of the day, what was it all about? It was about players getting more money. So and the more money they get, the more money the franchise gets. But the problem, like with the Giants, Jets, and everybody else has, is like it does. You can raise the prices all you want, people are still going to buy them. It's like the Knicks, right? Knicks are terrible, and they sell out every game.
Example, you have two young kids.
Yeah.
To give you an example, my son went to the game the other day with a friend of his. They were given the parking pass, they were given the suite pass, the whole 9 yards. The total for two people is $400. You got two young kids. You're going to go to a Giant or Jet game for 3 hours and spend $400 for what? For what?
But if it's not me, it's somebody else.
No, I'm not saying that. So, there's always going to be somebody else that has it's money or whatever.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I mean, this is what it is nowadays. Everybody, it's no different than sports, or it's no different than what's going on in society right now. Like, truck drivers want to get paid more money. People at McDonald's want to get paid more money. So,
right.
It's.
But that was my point. That was my point earlier. To me, these owners don't care about you, your kids, or any of us. It's all about the money. Yeah. And they don't care about putting a winning product on the field. I don't care what anybody says about that.
You know what? I wouldn't say that because I think there's some people, I'm going to get out of the football reign, but, one of the guys that's talked a lot is Cuban. But you know what? If you look, Cuban doesn't do it for, I'm going to make more money. Cuban does it because he loves the sport. He wants to bring a title to Dallas. He wants to do all that stuff. He does, and there's some owners, I think, that want to do that. But
there's some. There's some, but not all.
Right, that's not all. No, definitely not all.
Okay, even like you take the Broncos, you take the Giants, the Jets, the Bears, the Lions. Why are these teams why can't they compete, let alone win championships? Now, not again, Broncos won their share of Super Bowls, so did the Giants. Okay. Jets haven't won a Super Bowl since 1969. and they're not competitive. I mean, to me, it's a joke. It's a joke. You're paying some kid from BYU, okay, he's going to be good. That giving him $30 million. He hasn't even thrown a pass yet.
Well, you know what the problem is? That's just, again, we talk about this all. It's stupidity with what you're going to spend your money on. You know, it's like, oh, pay this guy, pay that guy, pay that guy. The next thing you know, now you're in hell for 6 years. It's so, you can't just pay anybody. If you do it, you're going to screw yourself big time. So that's why I'm sorry. Like, I would pick Zach Wilson. But there's no way Zach Wilson's getting any kind of extension until I want Zach Wilson to be like Josh Allen. Get me to an AFC championship or you're not getting any money. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, Paul, the next question is for you.
Okay.
Who do we blame? Do we blame the league? Do we blame the commissioner? Do we blame the fans? Or do we blame the organizations with all this nonsense going on? Who do you blame?
I think it's a combination of all of the above. I mean, look at last year when the fans couldn't go to games. They were crying, let us go to games, let us go to games. They came back like a dog that found meat because they hadn't eaten in a year. The owners, they crave that they want the fans back. They open the doors, let's get them all back. That's found money for the players and the owners because then they're going to be able to negotiate a better contract. And as you just said about 10 minutes ago, Goodell winds up making $40 million a year. $40 million a year.
Doing nothing.
Easy.
Doing
nothing. Exactly.
Kenny, what do you think, Kenny?
Real quick, sis. Coach Breslin's saying it's poor management. Look at the Washington football team. Have not won in years. Why? Daniel Snyder.
Coach is saying organization. Kenny, what do you think?
And then on the team, like Paul said, it's a combination of a lot of things. Management,
league commissioner, fans, or organization.
Commissioner, you got to blame a little bit. Management, for sure, you got to blame on certain teams. I mean, look at the Jaguars. 2 years in a row, they got the number one pick. You know, like, come on, Urban Meyer, they hired as a coach. So you got to blame management a lot.
Okay.
A little bit of each. I do agree with Paul, but I think management's on top of that list, like Coach Breslin said.
Kurt?
Again, I think a little bit of everything, but I don't know. I just think some organizations are smarter than another. You know, whether, again, it's what we're paying, what kind of coach we're going to hire. Am I making it to win money? But I blame the league is at fault too. You know, listen, I always say this story with the league, right? Ray Rice, remember he beat up the girl in the elevator, or his girlfriend. Yeah. Oh, Ray Rice we're not going to stand for this. No, the problem was he was an over 30-year-old running back who was done. Kareem Hunt did the same exact thing. Oh, Kareem Hunt. It's the same thing. But the problem is Kareem Hunt is 24 years old. He's younger, better player. Same thing with Tyreek Hill. I mean, that's on the league.
Mr. Bielen.
Keep it short and sweet. I mean, I think it's a list of all. I mean, it's definitely a combo of everybody. You can't point one finger at one person for something because you have the commissioner and then you got the players union and you got the owners. It's a combo of everybody.
And that wraps up what's on Sis's mind for this evening. Mr. Bielen, I'm waiting to be invited up for breakfast. I like my eggs over. I like turkey on the side, and I like rye toast with no butter and black coffee.
Black coffee, I got you.
Okay.
Paul, do you mind if I do my segment before yours?
Yeah.
Mine really quick. Mine's going to be really quick, and I'm going to change it on the spot. So tonight, we're going to bring in a segment called What's the Scenario? We're going to do a little role playing, guys. So tonight's storyline is the Giants are looking for a new GM. And we're down to 2 finalists. And those finalists are Paul Rosen and Sis, you are going to be playing Dave Gettleman. And Kurt, you're John Mara, and Bielen, you're Tish.
Don't ever put me in that.
So Mr. Mara and Mr. Tish get to ask Paul and Dave one question, and then they get to vote, and I'll get a vote as well. We each get one question to ask them about in an interview room, and we're going to see who is going to be the next Giants GM next year? Is it going to be Mr. Rosen or Mr. Gettleman getting his job back?
Okay.
And I'll start with Mr. Mara. You're up first, Kurt.
All right. Well, I'm going to start with Mr. Siciliano / Gettleman. a couple years ago, you took Daniel Jones in the top, what was it, top 6 picks?
Yep.
Top 6. He has not developed. You blamed it on Coach A. Then you went to Coach B. Now you got Coach C. And he still has not developed. He's always hurt, and he leads the league in turnovers. So that's number one. You then fired, I let you fire another coach, and you hired a special team coordinator who's in the Belichick tree, and the team has gone even worse.
Never been an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator, but go ahead.
So why did you hire him? Why did you hire him? So the two most important things in football, head coach and quarterback, and you bombed on both. Why should you keep your job?
I'm Gettleman. You're talking to me?
Yeah, you're Gettleman.
Yeah. Because I'm an idiot. And I have absolutely no business in the NFL. Okay? And if the Giants, you're gone. I mean, I'm gone. I know that. If they bring Judge back and Daniel Jones, I will become a Bronco fan next year.
You also said you were going to fix the offensive line wall.
Hey, you only get one question. You only get one question.
Okay.
Mr. Tisch gets the next question.
Switch it up. I'll go with Mr.
Oh, wait,
Rose.
Paul, you have a question for Paul, though, Kurt. You got to ask Paul a question. That same question, or you want something different?
No, Paul's the coach?
Paul's the new GM looking for a job.
Oh, new GM. So I just outlined, we spoke with Mr. Gettleman Siciliano, and I'll be honest, you are tied.
Hold on, Mr. Mara. Hold on. Let me skip this real quick. Let me hop in here, okay?
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Rosen. WTF? What is with this team? What is wrong with this team that this guy across the board is what is wrong with this team? And what would you do to fix it?
I'm staying silent because I don't have to say a word. I'm going to be hired because what Mr. Sis / Gettleman just said just eliminated him. So I don't have to say anything. I'm going to get the job just based on what he articulated.
I have a question for him though, Mr. Mara. I don't even know if I'm Tish or Mara, whoever.
You're Mara.
For Mr. Rosen, I believe that if you're going to take a quarterback that high like Mr. Gettleman did, you're tied with him. And I'm going to give you no more than 3 years. So are you okay where if you pick Kenny Pickett and he flops, you're going to go with Kenny Pickett? Are you agreeable with that?
If the scouts and the personnel people really feel strongly about him, and I'm gonna leave it to them to make that decision. I'm be a hands-off owner that is gonna hire people to allow them to do their job. I'm not gonna try and micromanage. Obviously, it hasn't worked in all these last 5-7 years. Oh, that's what I'm gonna do, and let them do their job.
And I got one question for Mr. Gettleman. I don't know who I am, but I'm in the interview room hanging out too. So, Mr. Gettleman, do you still agree with taking Saquon Barkley at number 2 before fixing the offensive line as you promised?
I had a gun to my head. I should have took the big boy from Buffalo, Mr. Josh Allen. That was a huge mistake right there. My question is this: in this scenario tonight, who's Joe Judge? Bielen?
No, this is GM search tonight. Maybe next week I do head coach. Maybe next week I do head coach. That's a good idea.
When you do the coach search, I want to be Joe Judge.
Next week we'll do Joe Judge.
Wait, I gotta go back. I didn't get answers to my thing though. Mr. Rosen, what is wrong with this team, and what would you do first?
First thing I would do is obviously the previous general manager was let go. I'm sitting in the seat to be hired. I'm going to do an evaluation, and in my estimation, After looking at the last 2 years, Mr. Judge, unfortunately, has got to be let go. I need to bring in a coach who I can work with, who I'm compatible with, who is going to be able to lead what I feel is a vision and what we need to do to make this storied franchise into what it once was. And given that ability to do so, we will come back and be stronger than ever, and we will be what the New York Giants organization should be. Feared.
Here's a question real quick, okay?
Wait, why is Gettleman
Why is
asking all the
Gettleman
questions?
getting his questions? This guy's fine.
If you're in an interview, you can ask questions.
That's because I'm not Gettleman. I'm Eddie Siciliano. Now, moving on real quick to my thought. In the business world, John, you're in the business world.
Mm-hmm.
If the people on the top aren't producing year after year, what happens to them, John? Thank you. Thank you.
So you're pretty much giving yourself the axe, Mr. Gettleman.
I'm giving myself the axe with a harness around my neck and a horse and buggy pulling me out of Giant Stadium.
Well, guys, you got any final parting words in this interview for Mr. Gettleman and Mr. Rosen?
Yes.
You hire me,
Don't let
and
the
I
door.
guarantee you, we changed the whole Giant organization around.
One quick question, one answer, no other word. What head coach would you hire?
You talking to me?
Yeah,
No, you're fired already.
Dude, that's true. That's cool.
I just want the Bielen to
But
get on
make
and
sure
say
you
that.
come back
You're
to me to
fired.
ask that question.
Rosen,
Just-
who?
Yeah.
Hold on, Rosen. Who are you hiring as a head coach?
Okay.
One word answer.
Paul,
All
you
right.
better have the right answer, Paul.
I got one for Mr. Rosen too, Kenny. I'll be quick too, I promise.
All
I'll
right.
be so disappointed, Mr. Rosen, if you don't say what I'm. Kenny already knows what I want, but go ahead.
God. All right.
He can't save your problems.
No. I would hire. He's had NFL experience. He's had college experience. He's been a player. I think I would bring in Jim Harbaugh to coach the Giants.
And I got one
Not
more,
the
Mr.
answer I was looking for, but anyway.
I got one more for you,
wait.
Mr.
What
Rosen.
was Dave Gettleman's answer?
Yeah.
Jim Caldwell.
Okay.
There goes the veteran that I said this to bring a veteran guy in. I like that, sis.
And
Thank
here's
you.
my last thing, Mr. Rosen as the GM. I'm big
Yes.
on superstar. There's only 4 legit, maybe 5. I'll give you again 5 or 6 quarterbacks. I'm going to add Burrow and Josh Allen underneath my 4 of Rodgers, Brady, Mahomes, and Russell Wilson. So I want Russell Wilson. I'm telling you, will you be on board of whatever it takes? If they want both ones, I want Russ. Will you sign off on that?
I will look at the whole scenario.
That's a no.
No. Wait. Listen, Mr. Gent. Wait a minute.
You don't want me in an interview room. That I like. I like decisive answers like this.
No. Listen. And I will wind up, if we can come up with a deal that's going to work out in the best scenario for New York Football Giants, and we bring in Russell Wilson, I will sign off on that.
Coach Breslin's saying, no, bad idea, Kurt. How are you going to block for him?
But coach, look at it. Look at how many times the guy was sacked in the last 5-7 years, and he made it to the playoffs every year. Coach, that's the argument I have with Giant fans who keep saying that. He's had no line, and he's been sacked 45 plus times each year. But no, that concludes. I think it is official. I think our votes are in. Gettleman is gone, and Rosen's the new GM.
There you go.
Next week, we'll have Kurt play as Vic Fangio or Drew Lock. I don't know yet which
No,
one he's
next
gonna play.
week. What do you mean next week? We got to do a show before Monday then, because that Black Monday's Monday.
Right.
And they play Saturday, so he might be gone Sunday.
Maybe tomorrow, Kurt's Pratt Shermer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh God.
Bring Teddy Bridgewater back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have Curtis Teddy Bridgewater. There you go. I brought that little fun to that. Thank you guys for playing along. Paul, we got about 7 or 8 minutes before we got to do closing thoughts.
Okay.
We got Rosen's Roundtable for us, another relatively new segment for each of us. Paul's going to go around the room and ask us each an individual question, guys, and we'll answer it individually, and then we'll have a different question for someone else.
I don't know. I know I joined late today, and I don't know if you guys mentioned this at all, but I did want to start by mentioning something real quick. Dan Reeves died on January 1st, and I just wanted to acknowledge him as a player, obviously a coach for both of our teams. He had an amazing career. I mean, he was in 9 Super Bowls as a player, assistant coach, a head coach. Obviously, he was the head coach of Denver when the Giants beat Denver in the
86.
He obviously got the Broncos to 2 other Super Bowls, got the Giants when he became the head coach of the Giants into the playoffs, and then got the Falcons to the Super Bowl. So he had a remarkable career in the NFL. And from what people said, he was just one of the nicest people that anyone has ever met in professional football. So I just wanted to acknowledge that.
Thank you. We didn't do that, and that we pretty much could cover Bronco Mania. We didn't do Bronco Mania tonight, so that was good that you brought him up, Paul. Thank you. We totally slipped our minds.
Okay. So I'm going to start with Sis. So Sis, we've all seen and heard Joe Judge's 11-minute plus monologue. It was almost like a plea to save his job. In many instances, he was criticizing former coaches, criticizing teams, making statements that the Giant organization has improved under his watch. So I have a sort of a 2-part question to you, Sis. As a former coach, would you ever publicly criticize a coaching colleague or another team?
Absolutely not. And he was like Kurt's dog Bella, begging for a treat. But go ahead.
And do you think with the Giants playing as bad as they have, that he was trying to deflect the criticism away from himself in order to save his job?
Absolutely, 100%. Again, I've been a Giant fan since I'm like, I don't know, maybe 7, 8, 9 years old. Again, not bragging, had a free agent tryout. I will tell you this tonight on the show. If they hire him back, and I never say this on my dad, I will not watch a game next year on the New York Giants.
Yeah.
One game. That's the way I feel.
Yeah. It's a tough sell for many fans. I mean, you see it on Facebook, Kenny. You know what we go through watching some of the sites that we are on, and the fans have had it. They have had it.
Yeah, and here's a better question, real quick. Why would you hire him back? For what?
Yeah.
For what?
There's no improvement. No improvement.
Nope.
Okay. Kurt, I was going to ask you about the playoffs in Cincinnati, but I'll ask you this, as we digested that enough. If you can go back and choose one Broncos game of all time, what game would that be, and why? And it may not necessarily be a Super Bowl game. It could be another game that just for whatever reason you might remember as a game that,
in a good way or a bad way?
Either. It's up
bad
to you.
way to Giants Broncos that we got stuck in traffic and ended up in the basement of Giants Stadium. With all the other people with crooked tickets.
Paul, I got 2. Okay?
Okay.
I got 2 bad ones. 96, they were the number 1 seed. They were up 12-0 against the second-year Jacksonville Jaguars in a divisional round. They were probably the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Lost that game. That's one. And the second one is 2012 when Manning came on for Denver for the first year. They won like 9 or 10 in a row. They're playing Baltimore at home in about 10 degrees in Denver. It's 3rd and like 20, and friggin', well, first off, John Fox, we get the ball up 7, and we're running the ball with Ronnie Hillman. We don't put the ball in Peyton Manning's hands. So that's John Fox. Then we give up a 70-yard touchdown where we go for the pick, and the guy's behind them, and we lose in overtime because I think Denver wins that year's Super Bowl too. So those 2 games I will never forget in a bad way.
I remember that one.
Yep.
I thought you were going to say the LA drive against Cleveland.
Oh, yeah, but in a good way, yeah.
In a good way, yeah.
Well, I thought from experience, you would have mentioned the Giants-Denver game, that experience of undefeated, and Giants with Kent Graham.
They still won the Super Bowl that year, so I can't.
They did. But that was just an experience that I would never forget.
Kenny, I know we talked about this a little bit before, but so what is your feeling about college players opting out of bowl games to protect their draft status? And I used actually Matt Corral's as an example.
Well, I know you all are, you and Sis and Bielen are parents, but me personally, like I said about Matt Corral, it's unfortunate that he got hurt. But when you go to college, you get a full ride to that school, not to opt out in a big playoff game. And a New Year's Six playoff game.
It's not a playoff game.
No.
Not a playoff game, a college bowl game is what
Bowl
I meant
game.
to say. You're the leader of the team. You should not be opting out. You don't. That's my opinion on it. I don't think they should be able to opt out when you get a full ride for a scholarship.
By the way, Kenny can't do wits and wages tomorrow, Paul. He's got to work overtime. He's got to send the money to the Corral family because all the money. Matt Corral listened to Kenny, and he got injured, and he lost all the millions of dollars.
Bielen, you're going to like this. I'm going to go back to a show I did 6 months ago. We had our friend Guy Bertola on, and I'm going to get the clip where Kurt said he wanted an 8 playoff team, and Sis said it too.
I do not
You
want
guys
an 8
want
playoff
You
team.
said it on the show.
I
You wanted
said it.
8.
I know I said it.
You said it on the show. You wanted 8, and now you're going
Hey,
back.
I might have said it, but I changed my mind.
Okay,
Listen,
fair enough.
This is my thing on that players opting out is you play the whole year. You play a championship game. For example, how about who was the Big 12 championship? That was
Oak State and Baylor.
Yeah, okay. Everybody knew as soon as Cincinnati won, everybody knew. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody knew that Cincinnati was going in.
That's
they
not
knew.
true. That's not true.
Baylor, all right, big give me another big division. Oh,
Pac-12.
Pac-12. Okay. Those Pac-12 games, all the players played. They played in every single one of those things. Okay? So why are you playing in the championship Pac-12 game?
Well, you're playing for a championship. But you're playing for a championship.
But Bielen's point is, why are you not playing in a bowl game, but you're playing
in a championship game? It's not a playoff game. So why are you playing in that game, but then you're not playing in a bowl game?
You're playing for the Pac-12 championship.
But that Pac championship does nothing for you. Nothing. Zero. Yeah, it does zero.
I don't know.
It does zero.
I don't know. If I'm a player,
especially that you know that you're not in the playoffs. Okay, you're not because Utah or Oregon were not going into the playoffs. They weren't going into those top 4 teams. So they knew. Why would you play? They played anyways. And then all of a sudden, when the other game came out, Utah had 2 people who weren't playing. Oregon had like 6 guys that weren't playing. But you played in the Pac-12 championship game. Come on, it's a cop-out, man.
All right, so hold on. So time out. So right now on record, okay, and we're gonna hold this back until how old's your oldest son?
Oh God, 5. Come on, you can't
okay,
hold
5.
this
So we're gonna hold this 17 years down the road, and we'll do a show. And you know what? Right now you're going on record. He's at Penn State. He's basically gonna be a top 3 pick. He comes up to you and says, "Dad, should I play in the Rose Bowl? I mean, we're in the Rose Bowl.
Play in the Rose Bowl. Yes.
I look at it this way: Rose Bowl's a big game. I'm going to say you could be a Rose Bowl champion and have
you don't play in all those things, but then 3 months down the road, you're getting ready for the NFL Combine, though. You can get hurt at the NFL Combine.
Of course,
So
you can get hurt walking to 7-Eleven.
Exactly. So that's my point. What's the difference? Just play in the freaking game. Just play the game.
If you're looking at millions of dollars, I disagree.
I do too.
But it happened to one guy.
And you got to
This is a
cancel
shot.
the bowl
One guy.
games.
Come on.
It's watered down. And you got to cancel the game.
And
Cancel the
Corral-
games.
And the kid Corral's a perfect example. You know how much money he lost by
Who
getting
else did
hurt?
it happen to? The last person that really happened to that bad was probably Willis McGahee back in
No,
Miami.
I'm not going to
Jalen Smith.
Right.
Yeah.
Jalen Smith. Hold on.
Look
And
at
where
the
did he
money
go? And he just got a
Corral
massive
lost by
deal
getting hurt.
from the Cowboys. So,
Well,
Let me ask you
but he was a
how
second
much-
round
how
pick.
much
He lost a lot of
Jalen
money.
Smith would have been
but
a
he got,
top
but he got,
five
but he got,
pick.
but he got a
He
big
didn't
deal
get hurt.
after that.
Yeah, but that's. But I'm saying you're guaranteed if he goes top 5, top 6,
Right.
you're locked in for 5
But
years.
who says
Yeah.
you're going to go there?
You're
agent?
gonna go there. You
He
know
was
you're gonna go.
Jalen Smith.
You know you're gonna go there.
Jalen Smith, when he played, he was guaranteed. They all said he was one of the top 5 players coming out that year.
All right, Paul.
But that
Paul,
doesn't
real
mean
quick.
that doesn't mean you're going to be a top 5 player. Look, I'm telling you right now, hands down on the show, your guy Trevor Lawrence is nowhere going to be near what you think he's going to be.
Absolutely, he will be.
No, he won't.
I disagree. I think he will.
He will be.
I'm with Bielen. I don't think he's going to.
No, he's a rookie, man.
I'm with you,
guys
Bielen.
are
I'm with
looking
you.
Doesn't
at
matter.
him,
He's
playing at
stuck.
Clemson.
He's stuck at a franchise. He's stuck at a franchise that's doing nothing for him and will not do anything for
Well,
the
they
next
gotta
5
get. Well,
years.
they're gonna get a legit head coach.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a terrible head coach. He was the worst thing. He had a terrible road. Right. I'm with Paul. Absolutely.
Great point, Carl.
Bielen, I'm with you.
All right, real quick.
You still throw the ball. You still throw the down every down. He hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in 6 games.
Kurt, let's let Paul ask Sis or any of us one more question. And then
Yeah.
we'll do closing
I have a would you rather, and
I'm not answering any more
We'll get
questions.
it, and then we got to wrap it up because we got a meeting going on. So we'll do one would you rather really quick,
okay.
and then we'll do
this,
closing.
including Bielen. Okay. Would you rather go to a Super Bowl that your team is playing in, or go to the 7th game final of an NBA championship, or a 7th game of a World Series that your team is playing in?
I'll go.
I'll go first. I'm gonna go World Series. I know I'm a baseball. I like watching football on TV. I like watching baseball in person. So give me World Series.
Okay. Bielen?
I've been to a bunch of games, and if you're in a stadium with your home team, baseball is the number one place where you want to be. The fans in baseball stadiums are unreal compared to everywhere else.
Interesting. Sis?
I'd rather go to ShopRite than go to any game. In all honesty, there's nothing like being at an NFL championship game.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Kurt?
I would probably go NBA Finals Game 7 at the Garden of the Knicks. But I would also, instead of a Super Bowl, I'd rather be in an AFC Championship game, but the game at Denver, in Denver.
That ain't happening too much in the near future with the Knicks in the NBA final.
I was at a Yankee playoff game against the Mariners, and Soriano hit a home run. We had back box seats, and like Bielen said, the atmosphere was just incredible. And this wasn't even a Game 7.
What'd you do? And snuck in under the gate to get in?
Yeah. That's a story I'll tell not me, but I'll tell you a story off the air about under the gate. But Paul, I know you got some more. We can save them for next week. I love this new segment we got, Rosen's Roundtable. Unfortunately, time is up tonight. It flew by because of all this nonsense college football talk.
By the way, Coach Breslin saying he was at the NFC
Yep.
Championship game, Redskins Lions in Washington in the 90s. Place was shaken. Never forget it.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny, final thoughts? You want to grab them?
Yeah. Go ahead. You take the order, Kurt.
All right, let's start with Paul. Final thoughts.
I think, thankfully, the NFL season is ending for that team in MetLife Stadium. Thankfully, I just hope Black Monday comes and we get a late Christmas wish and a Christmas present, because if not, this is going to be a sorry off season. as far as I'm concerned.
Mr. Bielen, your final thoughts.
I don't know. I don't really have any crazy final thoughts. Just excited for more sports, man. Just don't let this thing die out. And baseball's 3 months away.
By the way, breaking
And
news.
that lockout.
Real quick breaking news. Antonio Brown just announced, he did this big thing on Instagram and stuff, that he's saying he's having ankle surgery and giving his side of the story for Sunday. So it'll be interesting to read. I'll go next, Mr. Kirkpatrick. What is today? Wednesday? Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Probably 4 days I got to deal with Teddy. Well, Teddy Bridgewater is officially done for the season, so that'll be done. That's done now. So that's part one. Shermer and the special team coach will be gone. Fangio will be gone. And let's just do it, baby. The countdown starts for number 12 or number 3, but I want number 12. Whatever it takes. This year's draft, next year's draft, 3 drafts, I don't care. Get me that franchise quarterback. Mr. Siciliano.
Well, first of all, I'm going to delete all of you tonight because I'm tired of you off Facebook. So you'll all be gone. No hard feelings. I love you all. But in all honesty, I'm looking forward to tomorrow night show with my boy Carson, to be honest with you.
And I'm looking forward to Joey Clams and his BS excuses.
No, let me tell you something. I ain't heard from him since Saturday. He was going to call me after the Bama game.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't call me. He's got no answers.
Well, didn't he say he's going to jump out this window? Let me see if he's here. Hold on. No sign of Joey. Nothing yet.
No, he's home hiding under his bed.
And Mr. Kirkpatrick, finish us off.
As a man, I want to congratulate Sis and all the Alabama fans once again. I do think they will take home another national championship against Georgia. Well deserved. Happy for you, Sis. I hope I'm right and they do beat Georgia. Kurt, you're wearing a sweatshirt. I don't know if you're not feeling well because usually you're hot in that.
No, you know, we shut the vents. I shut the vents, so I think we're good.
And
by the way, Bielen, when you come in to help me hang my 3 couple things up, come on, Bielen. You said you're going to help me hang this stuff.
All right.
If you help me hang it, Bielen, you're excluded from the jersey. Kenny just buys me the jersey. How's that?
My final thought of the night is Sis said we're all deleted off Facebook. Sis can't delete us off Facebook because he's always banned off of Facebook. So.
Hey, I got news for you. I answered their question when I made the statement they should cut Antonio Brown after the Jet game. Now, I used the word cut, so they took me. But you get a shot to reply to them, and I replied to them, and an hour later, guess what? The kid was back.
Reinstated.
You know why, though? Did you see the new profile picture that he put up?
No.
You see that profile picture?
Who's
I did.
this?
Yeah.
Stop. And that was at Kurt's house.
Oh, yeah. Jen said the other day, that's from 60.
Yeah.
And I said to your wife, that's a great memory.
No. Well, all joking aside, Happy New Year to you all. And let's
we'll see you guys tomorrow.
2020